Welcome back, friends. We got a nice 8-minute round for you today, but before we get into that, if you guys want to support the channel and get some new gear, check out X Marshall and use discount code TASHA12122 for 15% off. So check them out, cop some new gear, and the link will be listed in the description. Thank you. So the round starts with a nice little guard pull. I'm going against my training partner, Joey, and he decides to try and pass my guard by stepping back into this kind of reverse half guard position, but I swing from side to side and I'm able to come on top. I start by looking for one of my favorite passes, the over-under pass, but my head's to the wrong side and I do a pretty terrible job with my head positioning overall, so Joey is able to take me over pretty easily. He gets this nice little sweep and he ends up in the front headlock position. I don't like, so I'm looking to exit out of the headlock position. I'm controlling his arm, I sit back, and then I end up settling for close guard. Now that I'm in my close guard, I'm looking to make my grips, and it almost looks like I'm going to go for a scissor sweep, but your girl is not hitting that. So I'm trying to bait him to possibly go for a triangle, but instead I opt to enter into a little key guard and use that to enter into 50-50. Joey starts pressuring into me, so it's difficult for me to start working what I want, and I'm trying to enter into an X guard position, but Joey starts to sit back a little bit. I really don't want that foot to slip out, because if it does, then I'm going to get into a worse position and it's going to be easier for Joey to pass. So I start to pass the foot to the other side and I look to enter into X guard, getting in my hooks. I'm able to enter into X guard and I go for one of my favorite X guard sweeps, coming on top. From here, I'm immediately looking to pass. I make my 2 grips on the pants, I get my head heavy on his hip, and I step over. We settle into a side control here, and then I'm looking for my options. It's hard to tell here, but Joey has a nice stiff arm grip on my other sleeve, close to his hip, so I'm worried that if he starts turning, he's going to be able to roll me over. But as he starts to roll me over, he lets go of the grip, and I'm able to post and settle into side control again. Joey has his frames here, and I'm looking to work either going to knee on belly or opening up his lapel. One of my proudest personality traits is being really annoying, and the lapels really allow me to do that. So I start opening up his lapel, and I'm looking to pass it to my other arm and start working for maybe a choke. But as Joey starts to turn over to defend, I decide to go to knee on belly. From knee on belly, I'm thinking of sliding all the way over into the mount, which, as you can see, I do here. Joey is underhooking my leg, which I see as an opportunity to go for a triangle, and good lord, this is the world's worst mounted triangle. I couldn't get my foot all the way through. His arm is a really heavy frame, so instead I opt to try and switch to an armbar as he bridges me off. I'm trying to use my shin to hook his neck just to keep him steady for a little bit as I transition into my standard armbar position. I'm looking to get a better grip on his arm so that I can go for the grip break, and I'm trying to put heavy pressure across his face, and then my other leg is just dangling in the wind. As per usual, I don't know why she does that. Trying to keep heavy pressure, my goal is to roll under him and to try and control his leg to pull him all the way over, because I find that that's often an easier finishing position. But it's really difficult to get Joey over, and as he tries to pull his arm out, I am able to get the finish from the standard position. We keep it moving and reset, hit a nice little slap bump, and then we look to get right back into it. I pull guard, and I'm looking to work the same stuff that I usually do, guys. Not a lot of variation in my game, but I do find that there is room for creativity, so I start opening up the lapel to be as annoying as humanly possible, and I'm looking to pass it under his leg, but Joey decides to sit back, so I take that as an opportunity to come on top. From here, I'm looking to pass again, but Joey does a good job of blocking up his half guard, so I'm going to have to pass with a little bit of pressure. I start to open up that lapel again, and I'm looking to feed it to my crossface arm. I find that if you're able to get this grip, it's much easier to pass because you're able to drive a lot of pressure into the head while at the same time keeping their mobility limited. Not that that grip is doing much of anything, seeing as I literally have the very tail end, but I'm able to enter into this sort of knee slide, and I use that to pass all the way over into side control. Looking at Joey's positioning on bottom, I decide that the best option is going to be to go for a paper cutter choke. So my right arm goes under his arm, and I make my grip 4 fingers in under the collar. With the other hand, I'm looking to make a thumb-in grip on his collar and drop my elbow over the neck to get the choke. However, my grips aren't particularly deep, and Joey does a good job of defending, so I don't think I'm going to be able to finish it. So instead of trying to finish the choke, I opt to go to knee on belly and slide all the way over into mount. I feel like sometimes you gotta know when to let go of a submission that isn't gonna work and transition into a more dominant position. Joey starts to bridge me off a little bit, and I need to address this, so I start to underhook his arm, but as I do that, I feel like Joey's gonna try to bump and roll me over, so I transition back into side control. And then from here, what do you know? I'm going for lapel stuff again. This is one of my favorite lapel setups. It's often hit on me by my professor, and I'm very spiteful when he does it to me, so I like to do it to other people because I feel like if I'm in pain, I should share that pain with others. I live by the motto sharing is caring, so I feed the lapel over his arm, I use that to stuff his arm and go straight for a triangle from side control. I'm having a similar problem to the first time I shot the mounted triangle, but this time I do a better job of controlling my shin. I lock up the triangle, and then from here to get the finish, I push the elbow over, I bring my head to the mat, I start bridging and pinching my knees, and I am able to get the tap. And we're ready to go again, so I make my grips and pull guard, but Joey does something really cool. He steps out and then he looks to shoot straight into the mount. Thankfully, I am able to get my knee in time, and then from here, I'm looking to come on top. Thankfully, both my arms were on the outside, so I was able to avoid the threat of the triangle, and I look to pass back into side control. This was an 8-minute round, so we have been going for quite some time. I start to open up the lapel again. Are we seeing a common theme? This time, I want to go for a baseball choke. That's what I had in mind. So I start to open up that lapel and feed it to my other hand, and then reassess my position and see what I can do to make that happen. I actually kind of forgot how to do the choke, so instead of going to knee on belly first, I try and use my arm to frame his arm so that I can make my second grip for the choke. But as I go to do that, Joey starts to turn on inside, and I'm thinking about going for a katagatami, but he does a good job of bringing his arm back in, and instead I pass back into the mount. Joey's looking to bump me off, and seeing the threat of him bumping me off, I decide to just get off myself and go to side control. We pretty much finished the round here with me looking for one last lapel choke with my own lapel this time. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are enjoying this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much to Joey for letting me film this round, and thank you so much to Coach Caitlin for filming. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye!